If you've ever been told to pull your pants up because the market is selling off, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Thanks for joining us today. Like and comment. It helps us out a lot. Really, really appreciate it. Love Neil's send-off there. I completely concur. Happy hump day, Jonathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Ryan. It's a great day. I would say despite the snow in Detroit last night, you would say because of the snow in Detroit last night if you were here. But hey, it's a great Wednesday.
It is a great Wednesday. I am known for being a psychopath because of my affinity for snow. I really like it. It calms me down. I seem to be the only person in the world to do that. So enjoy it while it's there. Now on to business here. We actually have some really great opportunities to cover and some potential lessons. So even though these are not going to be actionable signals from our presentation today, the lessons that you can learn from this presentation can be used and repeated over and over and over and over again. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. Jonathan, what do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. We had some great examples this morning. It looks like you got green box up.
Yes, sir. So for the first thing here is that on the left-hand side, I've got our brand new scanner up right now. This scanner, you've seen us cover it before. This scanner is still in beta. We're still making improvements to it, but this is an improvement on our movers scanner. And what you're going to see here I've basically got this set up very, very broadly, right? I'm sorting on the change since yesterday's close. I'm only looking for gainers, and I've got a volume filter in here and a subtype filter in here, which basically means I'm just looking for stocks. I'm eliminating things like units and warrants from this results list. Now, one of the stocks we're actually going to cover a couple of the stocks that come on here. I feel like if we look at a couple of examples, it'll then help going forward when looking for these examples on your own. So the first one that we've got here is G-Box, and this is one. Oops, let me go ahead and get rid of my trend line there. This is one of our volume expansion trades, and this one actually worked out really, really well. You'll recall from some of our other discussions when we're talking about volume expansion, this is the formation that we're looking at. So number one, you can see that the stock really didn't gap much this morning. It had traded up on a little bit of volume in the pre-market, but nothing really of note. The action really didn't happen until the market opened. And shortly after the market opened, we've got a 1-minute chart here on the chart. We see that this stock actually pushes up on volume and makes a high right here around 813, I believe, with that wick. No, high at 812. I nailed it right to the penny. And then it pulls back a little bit here. Now, the yellow line indicator that I've added to this chart is the 9 EMA, and we've used this a lot. We've talked about this a lot. EMAs, good for a day trade here, right? It's going to weight those candles, those recent candles more so than the further away candles, and give us a more reactive average here to the price. So we're going to use this for our day trading. We know that this is a day trade going in, right? We're looking just for a quick capture of some gains here, quick little flip. So what we've done is we've identified this level, right? And so now the rest of the volume expansion trade itself is fairly simple. Once you've got this spot identified, the rest of it is fairly simple. It's either going to work or it's not, and it's going to happen fast. So what we're waiting for is we're waiting for a break of this level, and we're waiting for that on volume. So right away here, you'll see a couple minutes later, you'll see this candle here, right? At the 9:53, that's 9:53 Eastern, 23 minutes after the market opens, this candle actually tests that level, but doesn't break it, and the volume is muted. It's there, but it's muted. It wasn't as big as the volume on the previous stick, and it wasn't as big as the volume on the largest stick. Now, at the time, you couldn't see this stick, right? This big stick right here hadn't taken place yet, so you couldn't have seen this. So what you would have been doing is comparing it to these sticks, or perhaps even some sticks in the past that were larger. All right, so as soon as this line gets taken out on volume, that's when you want to enter. That's your entry signal, right? Because again, as soon as it breaks that near-term resistance that it's set, that is now support. We're trying to capture a very, very quick movement after that break, and we're trying to get in and get out quickly, put those profits in our pocket. Those profits may not be huge. You may not be going out to buy a Ferrari, but that's okay, because we're going to stick those profits in our pocket over and over and over again. And over time, we're going to have a nice little stack of cash. So what happens here is as this then trades back up, it actually breaks through that resistance line at 812. You can see the volume actually picked up, and then some of the buying volume stayed in this name. In fact, 4 minutes later, we got even more volume and another big green powerful candle here. Now, the reason that we've added the 9 EMA here is because this actually works great as an exit indicator, whether it be either a stop loss or once we've reached our profit target. You can see that actually once we traded up to the 860-ish level, 870-ish level, again, our entry here at 812, once we're up at the 860-ish level, we kind of pull back towards that line. And as we compress here, as we get closer to the line, it again shoots off of it. Now, later on in the morning at about 10:20, we actually come back in, test that line, and then break through that line. And now you can see that that 9 EMA that acted as support is now acting as resistance for this price. We're having a little bit of a battle here around that line going forward. This is what we want to avoid. We want to capture this movement, avoid this choppiness, and stick those profits in our pocket. And that's exactly what we got here. What's really nice about this example, Jonathan, is that a lot of times in a volume expansion trade, you're going to be happy with 5, 15, maybe even 20 cents. Well, we got way more than this. We broke here at 812. Let's be a little bit more conservative and say you don't actually get filled till 815. This thing goes as high as 9, what's the high on this candle? 984. Pretty awesome. And if you waited for the full downward break of the 9 EMA, you probably got out here at 928. You had more than $1 in profit. Very, very quick trade here. Really cut and dry. Really easy to spot here. And we basically use these two tools as we do all of the time.
And what I always like to remind newer people is, let's say it did break down below that 9 EMA during that consolidation phase. Well, stick to your trading plan and get out. But that doesn't mean you can't get back in. If it shoots up again, and if you look at the volume on that next candle, let's say it did break below that 9 EMA and you were out, you were disciplined. Well, boom, you get back in right there, and then you ride it up again all the way for the rest of the trade. So just because you get out doesn't mean you can't get back in.
Yep, and if you wanted to be really, that's a great observation, Jonathan. If you wanted to be really precise, hover your mouse over this candle. Note that at the top right up here, it's going to give you the stats on the candle. So when I mouse over that candle, you can see the high is 879. Well, guess what? That's where we're going to put our price level. So if that level falls again, if we end up getting out and that level falls again on volume, as it does several minutes later, that's another potential opportunity here. So even if you didn't ride this all the way up, even if you didn't play it perfectly, in this example, you were actually given another opportunity today. Now, I did see one of the chat commenters here is asking about ticker TIPT, which is another one that we briefly wanted to talk about today. This one is crazy. Here's the thing, though. This also didn't really gap. There was a little bit of action in the pre-market on small volume, kind of muted action. The real trade didn't actually come until the market opened, which is fine, right? If you were able to hit this out the open, that's great. And in fact, it's still running. And look how well the 9 EMA is holding up on this one, Jonathan. I mean, this is literally a roadmap. This is a roadmap. In fact, if you were on this, you might have gotten out here. You might have gotten out here, or you might have just now gotten out here. We're $2 above where this actually ripped. So here's what I wanted to mention about TIPT. This one, although this trade worked, this is a little bit more difficult to identify. It's easy for us to talk about it after the fact when we've got all of this data here. But when this is actually happening live, you didn't have that very, very clear entry signal that we had on GBox, excuse me. We didn't have that push up, the pullback, and then the break of that line. And effectively what that's doing is we're setting up a resistance line, and then we're testing that resistance line. And when that resistance line falls, we actually continue to go. This is something that if you followed Sandman, you've seen this 100 times in our chat room. You don't actually have that signal here. So the entry here would have been, if you had any type of edge on this stock, if you had any type of knowledge, or if this was on your watch list or anything, and you see these powerful green candles here on buying volume, perhaps you actually took that trade to play along with the momentum. It's the key, but again, the key difference here is that there wasn't necessarily that clear signal like there was on Gbox. So remember, not all opportunities are created equal. Some of them are a little bit harder to spot. Some of them are still going to work, but they might just be harder to identify in that actual moment. That's why we try and do as much of this ahead of time as possible.
Yeah, that's a good point. That, and that's the difference between chasing versus executing a trade plan, right? So you just want to know ahead of time, am I waiting for a pullback or not? So if I was kind of waiting for, I might miss out on that entire initial move, which is pretty nice to, that's a nice move to get. Let's say I was staying disciplined, you can still wait for it to pull back to the 9 EMA. So maybe you catch it on the scanner. You see, hey, this wasn't gapping, but I have this set for since the open, and boom, it's up, I don't know, 8% or whatever. And then it pulls back to that 9 EMA. Well, now you have your entry point because you do have something to bounce off of.
Really good point. And just adding to that, if we look back to yesterday, we actually have that price or that volume, that big volume candle, right? So this price kind of ran up. It did gap yesterday, much more considerable gap yesterday than today. And in fact, it looks like we did have a very, very small volume expansion trade here, but we set this in. So this is yesterday's intraday high. Now, if you have that marked, if you were prepared for that, or if you're doing that in your due diligence, perhaps that's your entry signal here. But remember, for the volume expansion trade, a lot of this is actually set same day. So again, if we just for the sake of comparison, if we go back to Gbox, we actually put that point in this morning, and then we broke that point. This is what, 9:37. We broke that point 20 minutes later, right? 25 minutes later. On TPIT, this is a multi-day process, right? So this was yesterday's intraday high that we broke. Now, I'm not sure that that's going to give you the exact same results as a high that we put in this morning, but if this is another way to actually trade this, and if you were watching this yesterday, if you tried for a volume expansion trade yesterday and it failed, your redemption might have happened today, right? Because we're getting much more of a sustained power move. I suspect that some of these buyers were looking for this type of move yesterday. They didn't get it yesterday. They did get it today. And these tools can help show you how to actually trade that.
Absolutely. And we got one more here in the last couple minutes. WBT is right there at the top of the list. And this is interesting because it looks like it spiked up after hours yesterday and then sold off significantly. And so if you're looking, that's always interesting, right, Ryan? Where there's an outlier candle and then all the other action in the extended session. And so the question is, do you try to get in before it breaks that high, or after it breaks one of the other, I'll call it a lower high?
Yeah, no, so that's a great point. So first of all, Chilled Monkey, the 9 EMA has worked perfect for me today on NGA. Way to go, my man. Great stuff. 9 EMA, great for day trades. Jonathan, to your point, what we're looking at here, this outlier candle, this is that knee-jerk reaction, right? So something happened, really caused the price to sell up. That's that knee-jerk reaction. And then the rest of the after-hour session is the digestion of that piece of news or action or transaction by the rest of the market participants. Now, if you followed or listened to me in any of these before, you know that I'm not a huge fan of trading in those extended sessions because the volume is so much lower than it is in the traditional regular session. However, that's not going to stop me from, at minimum, recognizing what took place and that there's an important point now on the chart that may fall. And if you take a look at that, what I've done here is I've kind of marked some of those points out. I marked the very top of that big candle that was put in yesterday after the close, and then I marked this intraday double top, we'll call it, right here at 1923. And you can see that actually both of these levels were in play as soon as this stock opened today. Remember, I ascertained these levels from data that took place yesterday. I didn't need the data today to figure that out. I mean, I guess this one I needed the pre-market data today, but I didn't need any of the data since the market opened in order to figure out these levels. And let's take a look what happened. Well, as soon as the market opened, we really kind of pushed off. And that's going to, again, be one of those kind of impulsive reactions. We start to pull back a little bit. Jonathan, let me ask you, do you think it's any coincidence that we pulled back to 1923 on the penny? I don't.
No, I do not think that's a coincidence.
I do not think that is a coincidence either. We pull back to that point. This also lines up just above the 9 EMA, and the stock continues to make pushes upward. So if this is if this is a stock that you're looking for, this is how you can kind of set this up for today. You did have multiple opportunities here. You'll also see that this second line here at 2013, this is the top of that impulsive candle that we identified from yesterday. Look what happens when that falls. That breaks. Right. We have a big, powerful green candle. Now, the volume outlier on that candle is big. It's not an outlier from its peers today. But I mean, if we look at the candles compared to yesterday, I mean, good Lord, this is an order of magnitude larger in terms of how many buyers, how much volume is actually in this name. That's going to be your key for your volume expansion. When the volume shows up, when it's bigger than average, that's when your opportunities are going to present themselves.
All right, be sure to destroy that like button. Show up for the Clean Tech event tomorrow. That will have some great companies that you can check out. And don't forget to attend the Benzinga Pro happy hour. You can find the link in the description. So until next time, happy trading.
All right, time for a Newsdesk update. I'm bringing on Randy Elias. Randy, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
It is, oh my God. Basically, if you are in a stock that's been getting crushed, then today is the day for you. You are getting a chance. You are getting a gift, I think, today. Randy, looks like every single stock that's been out of favor is suddenly in favor today. I'm talking a stock like Skills, right, which is up 14%. Why? Just because.
Yeah,
because
they're it's like one of many other stocks that are doing that at the open. You can look at Canon.
Yeah, all the Bitcoin, the Bitcoin stocks, right?
They all popped at the open. They were getting crushed pre-market, crushed yesterday, and boom, market opens and they just all spiked. Plug Power as well. I had them on my list. They spiked right at the open. I don't know. I guess everyone's buying the dip. Everyone's finally.
I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I would go the other way. I would say if the trend if we zoom out and Plug, right? The trend has not been your friend in Plug.
Right.
If you're a long Plug and you're just waiting for a chance to get out, I mean, today could end up being your day. Now, could this mark the bottom? Could yesterday be the bottom? Could this be the turning point? I mean, maybe. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. But all I do know is that all of these stocks that have been so out of favor are getting bid up today for no other reason than they've been out of favor. And the market decides that they like it now. I mean, like Playboy too, PLBY, which just fell from 40 something. Let's pull up a 15-minute chart here. You can see it's up 10% today.
Yeah.
This thing has fallen like $10 in the last week.
Yeah, hit the high of 44 and dropped all the way to 32.
Right. Jeez. Fell $12 in the last week. And now it's up 10% today. It's all the crap that nobody's wanted. And that's what's in favor today. It's so interesting. So if you're waiting for a pop to sell and get out, maybe this is the day for you. I know I'm not going to go as far as to say, sell the rip. But I would not. I would be very, 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 very cautious about buying the dip. Well, I mean, it's not a dip today, but I'd be very cautious about chasing any of these things because the trend is not your friend in any of them. I mean, you go back to Skills. This thing's gotten just destroyed. Yeah. I would be very cautious about chasing Skills today. I would put my money on this being a sell the rip thing, but that's just my take. I don't know if you have a take, Randy.
No, I didn't really. I would say just on my radar for the movers. So keep an eye on all these stocks, see what they're going to do for the rest of the day and see what they do to end the week throughout the rest of this week.
What is on your radar?
Plug, Skills, and Riot, Mara.
Riot. I bet you Riot's up.
Yep, Riot spiked right at the open. They were getting killed pre-market. I think they were down like 5%.
And Bitcoin, that's the thing too, is Bitcoin is not even like I go to the futures and Bitcoin and the futures are down today, right? Like Bitcoin is down over the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And yet these Bitcoin stocks, whether it's Riot, whether it's SOS, not really SOS, CAN, which you mentioned, there's so many of them. BT, Bit Digital, they're up 10% today. All this crap that nobody wanted, up today. So it's just a rotation thing.
Yeah.
It's just a rotation thing.
Seems like it.
Yeah. All right. Are there any individual headlines that you're watching, or any other movers that aren't part of this trade the losers trend?
Yeah, there's a few of them. We got an upgrade for Norwegian Cruise Line.
Okay.
And CLH.
Yeah,
Goldman Sachs upgraded the stock from neutral to buy, raised its price target 27 to 37, which lifted the stock 7%. And also, Goldman Sachs raised price targets on the other cruise lines like Royal Caribbean and Carnival. Those stocks are up, not as much as Norwegian. As the analyst at Goldman Sachs maintained a neutral on Carnival and Royal Caribbean. More bullish towards Norwegian, looks like.
See, this is interesting too, right? Because this is that reopening trade that's cooled off. If you zoom out, right, the reopening trade has definitely, it was hot, and now it's cooled off.
For sure.
And Goldman is certainly liable to reignite that trade. So the charts of all these cruise lines all look identical. They all trade the same exact way.
Pretty much, yep.
Could this be the catalyst to jumpstart it again? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. Norwegian, like you said, is up 7% today. That's how powerful Goldman Sachs is.
Yeah,
is they can do that
for sure. Okay. Other than cruise lines, we have streaming services. So they were getting hit a little harder at the beginning of pre-market. They were down like 5%, like Roku, for example. Sorry, say it ticker. Roku was down about like 4 or 5%. They rebounded.
Coming back
a little bit. They're still down for the day, almost 2%, but better than being down 5%, right?
I mean, if you look at Netflix just since the open, Netflix looks like it's up. Oh no, it's not. What was the open on Netflix? The open was 508.
Yeah, 508.50.
All right, so we're flat. We're flat from the open. Yeah. It's holding the levels. Roku, like you said, actually popped at the open. A lot of these sympathy stocks that were down with Netflix yesterday, like Roku, like Fubo, exactly.
Fubo was getting killed. Now they're in the green.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that Fubo chart.
Yeah.
By the dip in the sympathy streaming plays, Roku, Fubo. What about Disney?
Kind of like what you said. I think people are beginning to realize that it's a lot easier for Fubo to grow at a large pace than it is for Netflix to grow, considering already how big they are.
Right. Well, but also keep in mind that Fubo has been a dog, total dog, and Fubo
for sure.
Fubo fits into the theme of like, this is a stock that everyone hates, so let's buy it today.
Yeah.
So it's got that going for it, which is nice.
Okay, so we got streaming services. DGLY, Digital Ally.
You ain't got no alibi.
What's that? What is that?
Never mind. All
right, Digital Ally. They're trading lower after the jury found Derek Chauvin guilty on all 3 counts.
So wait, what? I guess why would? Yeah, obviously that's the catalyst,
right?
But
so this company,
I don't know if I understand.
This company produces like security cameras and body cams, and
it's body cams.
So. Yeah, all that stuff for like police officers and all that. The stocks like this and RAP RWAP, RAP Technologies. These stocks have been on the move all throughout like the riots and when everything was going on with all the gun shootings and everything. So these stocks have been very volatile during these news items, and because of everything that was going on yesterday, both these stocks tanked.
But why? But why is my question? Is it just because? Is it because there's not going to be like nationwide protests now because he was found guilty? Is that the implication?
Maybe.
SWBI. SWBI. Cameron in the chat isn't. I guess so, but didn't they split? No. SWBI split. So SWBI is the gun assets, the firearms, and then what is it? American Outdoor Brands is like the rest of their company. I don't remember the ticker. AOUT. SWBI. I guess that's what the market is saying. That Zunaid is like, if the verdict went the other way, then there would be protests and then more violence and more need for this stuff. Maybe. I guess that's what the market is saying here, but I don't really understand it. But you can clearly see. I mean, that red candle.
Yeah, you can clearly
Very
see it.
obvious what that was.
Yeah. The second that came out on the decision,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
tanked.
Weird. The market does weird things. If you look at real world stuff through the lens of the market, it can distort your view on things. Randy, anything else that you're watching today?
I kind of just noticed United Airlines. So this airline has been getting hit lately, and like we said, a lot of these stocks are just booming at the open. The stock took off at the open, and I saw this headline that United Airlines says customers can now schedule COVID tests and be automatically cleared for travel directly through Travel Ready Center. So I guess it's a good thing for the company. You can just go there and get tested for like international flights. I think that's what they're making it required for.
That sounds cool. That has nothing to do with why the stock's moving. I think this is reopening trade.
Right. I just think it's a good longer term play or longer term news item. Maybe you're right, but like this is I mean reopening trade. I mean you look at here. Doesn't Spirit report tonight? They have earnings tonight. Yeah,
no, tomorrow.
It looks like all these airline companies kind of just boomed at the open.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're all up. This could be the power of Goldman. Goldman upgrading one cruise stock signals, hey, reopening trade, buy it all. Not Delta, apparently. No, Delta's up today.
Delta had a spike at the open.
Delta's up. I did United. I didn't do Love. Let's take a look at
American Airlines. Kind of had a
Southwest. Spike. Yeah, and they all have earnings.
Yep.
Here, let's go to the calendar here. Spirit has earnings tonight. Southwest has earnings tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one more. I don't remember. American has earnings tomorrow morning as well. So, and Alaska has earnings tomorrow morning. So a bunch of airline earnings tomorrow morning.
Nice. Can't wait to report on all of them.
He can't wait to report on all of them because he's Randy Elias. He's in at like the crack of dawn every day, pumping out headlines when they come in at 6 a.m. And we appreciate him for that because if he didn't do it, then we'd have to go through the PRs ourselves, and that's harder and not fun to do. Not as fun to do. So someone's got to dig through the PRs to get through the headlines, and we appreciate that. Randy Elias from our Benzinga Pro Newsdesk. Randy, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Later, everyone.
All right. Let's talk. Yeah. Okay. So it's just a buy the crap day. Frankly, that's what it is. It is a buy the crap kind of a day. Every crappy stock is up, it seems like. Someone find me a crappy stock that's not up. I want to know. How's Zoom doing? Ooh, Zoom is not up today. That doesn't inspire confidence. If Zoom can't catch a bid today on a day when all the out of favor stocks are up, I don't know. All right, Ride. Yeah, good one. That's a great example. Ride also down today. Does not inspire confidence. If your stock that is in the doldrums cannot go up on a day when it seems like every other crappy stock is in the doldrums is catching a bid, then you're in trouble, I think. CCIV. All right, up a little bit. I wouldn't put GameStop in this category. Kaylee. GameStop is sort of its own thing. GameStop doesn't really fit neatly into a group. It's not really value. It's not really growth. It's its own beast, right? It's its own beast. Anyway, guys, smash the like if you haven't already. That really helps us out on YouTube. We appreciate that. Also, subscribe to our new channel, Benzinga Clips. I'm putting the link up. It's in the chat right now. The Benzinga Clips channel, where we're not doing the live content there. We're just cutting through all the live content, posting the highlights on our Clips channel for much shorter videos. So we're not like just bombarding our main channel with everything. We got the live stuff on Benzinga, the short stuff on Benzinga Clips. So there it is, the link to that in the chat. Smash the like I said. YouTube 20 will get you 20% off any Benzinga Pro subscription on pro.benzinga.com. That's the platform that's up on our screen all the time. That's what we use. That's what Randy's posting to. Real-time headlines and research. There is the code up on the bottom of the screen. And it's 11 o'clock, which means it's time for SPAC's attack, which means it's time for me to hop off. So I will see you guys later. Smash the like. Good luck in your trading.